All right, hey, what's up, everybody? Mike Lindsley back with you. 9 minutes with me on IGTV, YouTube, and Facebook. I am here at the Phoenix Sports Restaurant, a proud sponsor of the ML Sports Platter. If you are in and around Central New York, make sure you get here. Have their buffet every day. I'm telling you, this buffet is lights out. From meatballs to cheese ravioli, ziti, all kinds of meats, hot dogs, you name it. It's unbelievable. They've got a stew. They've got all sorts of things that happen. It's a variety every day, and it's only $9.95. It includes a coffee or a soda. I'm telling you, you got to get here to the Phoenix Sports Restaurant for that. And as you can see, the TV's in the background. They do play the races all across the country in terms of the ponies, and you can bet right next door at the Phoenix OTB. We'll be here for the Belmont at some point. Details still to follow, but make sure you get here to the Phoenix Sports Restaurant for their great buffet. They've got all-you-can-eat boneless wings, all-you-can-eat spaghetti meatballs, all-you-can-eat steak. They've got some amazing beers on tap and in the bottle as well. Get here to the Phoenix Sports Restaurant. Make sure you take some desserts to go as well, which range from banana cream pie to half moon cookies to chocolate chip cookies, you name it. Here at the Phoenix Sports Restaurant, you're going to get a full experience and an awesome atmosphere. I want to preview the NBA Finals. Game 1 is coming up on Thursday. 9 o'clock, ABC will have all the games. It'll be the Warriors against the Toronto Raptors. And I want to start with Toronto here, actually. I mean, I think that Toronto, I think for the entire year, from an Eastern Conference perspective, we were all wondering who would take advantage first of LeBron James not being in the Eastern Conference. A guy who was going to the finals 8 straight times between his Miami Heat and Cleveland Cavalier days. Who would take advantage of it? This year, would it be Toronto? Would it be Milwaukee? Would it be Boston? Would it be somebody else? It turns out that it's Toronto, and it turns out that it's Toronto for a couple of reasons. Number one, I thought they played the best defense in the entire Eastern Conference playoff series, one to the next, to the next, to the next. A lot of that starts and ends with Kawhi Leonard, which gets to the next layer of this whole thing. Kawhi Leonard is proving for the Toronto Raptors and in this NBA postseason that if you get one more guy, if you get the superstar, you can completely and utterly change your chances at winning a championship. There is no question about it. Kawhi Leonard has been that guy for Toronto. He has been everywhere. He has been shooting the ball from the outside. He has been passing the ball incredibly well. He's been a floor general. He's rebounded the ball. He's blocked shots. He's been a terrific defender. He's been a great help defender. And he can score from anywhere on the floor. Toronto is solely in the NBA Finals because of Kawhi Leonard. I don't care what anybody says. You can say, well, it's not about one guy. In their case, it absolutely is. If you took Kawhi Leonard away from this team this year, you would take away a lot. You'd take away arguably the best two-way player in the NBA. You would take away depth and balance and versatility because he brings all of those things to the table. Because when you bring in a superstar, every other person just goes one little notch below. And there's a lot less pressure on a guy who normally would be maybe a 2 or 3. You're not vaulting him up into a number 1 or a number 2 for a superstar. Instead, you've got Kawhi Leonard, a takeover-type player. It's the same thing that happened when LeBron went back to Cleveland. Granted, he had Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving, but you get the point. They had LeBron James. If you have 2, 3 of those type guys, forget about it. And that's where you go with the Golden State Warriors, and we'll get to them in just a quick second. And as far as Toronto in the NBA Finals, I don't think that this is any kind of a change in the guard or a ridiculously impactful situation, but I do think it's good for the game in this sense. This is Canada now, okay? This is Canada's team. The Raptors in Toronto are basketball equivalent of the Toronto Blue Jays. Now, look, Toronto is still a hockey town. It's Maple Leafs first. I understand that. But when you take a peek at the other two teams, the Blue Jays represent baseball in Canada, and the Raptors now are Canada's team, in Toronto, the same exact way. I think it's going to be good from an international standpoint, from a scouting standpoint. Canadian basketball players, maybe, just maybe, NBA fans in, Tonawanda, New York, or NBA fans in Southern Ontario who just kind of watch but don't have a team. They're like, wow, I kind of really like this Raptor thing going on, and hopefully they keep Kawhi Leonard because he's my guy. I'm going to hop on the bandwagon here. I haven't had a team in decades, or I've never really had a team, but now I'm going to kind of get on this thing a little bit. There are a lot of those people that are out there. They're kind of fringe NBA fans, much like some other people are fringe other sport fans. Maybe that could create something there. Maybe it creates more interest in Canada. Maybe it creates more interest in the Raptors globally. I love that the Toronto Raptors are in the NBA Finals. I'm not going to lie. I know A lot of people wanted Giannis Antetokounmpo in the finals. How can you blame him? He's a special prodigy. The guy is maybe the longest player we've ever seen, and he's probably the next big thing in the league, if not already. But I think the Toronto thing's pretty cool. And remember, they were called the Baby Raptors for a long time. They were called the team that couldn't get over the hump. Well, here they are in the NBA Finals playing against the Golden State Warriors. Speaking of the Golden State Warriors, Kevin Durant out for Game 1. I think that the Warriors are going to win this series in 5 games. I could see it going 6 without question. One of the things that's going to be interesting to see is Golden State now, remember, does not open up at home because Golden State took several games off this year. They're now getting penalized for that because their record isn't as good as Toronto. Toronto has the home court advantage, which I think is the storyline of the series. Can the Raptors, with 4 games out of 7 to the Warriors 3 out of 7, can the Raptors take advantage of 1 extra home game and win the series based on home court? Now, I'm not saying they're going to win all 4 games on the home floor, but what if they can win the first 2, for example, put Golden State in a little bit of a hole, you get back to your home arena, and maybe you've got a shot there to the 2 of the last 3 games are at home. Your goal probably at that point is just to get to a Game 7, and anything can happen, but you're home. That could be a big, big thing here as Golden State and Toronto clash in the NBA Finals. And I got to say, this storyline with Kevin Durant, he may have already played his last game in a Golden State uniform because when you look at this calf, it appears as though it right now is a major, major, major problem. It's more of a tear than it is a strain. We'll see if he'll be back. I will say at the same time, though, we saw it in the Houston series. We saw it in the Portland series for Golden State. Steph Curry was at peak Steph. I mean, this guy was absolutely positively unbelievable, and I don't expect anything to change. They're going to get a lot of rest leading up to this Thursday start for the NBA Finals. Klay Thompson. Look, if this team still holds the main 4 guys together, or main 3, I should say, and then kind of builds around, you don't know how much time Iguodala will have left in terms of playing at a high level. Speaking of two-way players, he can score, and man, is he great defensively. Draymond Green, Steph Curry, and Klay Thompson. Those are the 3 guys. You can keep the coach, Steve Kerr. You could have something going on still here for quite a while. And the Kevin Durant part of the Warriors dynasty could be a little bit of a blip, just kind of, coming in, helping to make you even more dominant, win a couple titles, and then disappear again. And it would still be as it always has been. I don't care how dominant Kevin Durant's been. I don't care if he's been the best player. Kevin Durant is not Steph Curry. Steph Curry, the impact he's had on the game, I've said it before, I think he's the second most impactful player in NBA history. Just look at the way ball is played around AEU leagues in grade school and at the collegiate level. Look around the NBA, bobbing and weaving and guard play and back screens and constantly moving without the basketball. The length of three-pointers, the distance and the handle that he has and everything else. And then he's made his game really more all around so that he can go to the hoop. And now he's kind of keeping defenses honest with that, which allows him now to pop the shots from outside. And defenses have no friggin' idea what this guy is going to do. So I'm going to take the Warriors in 5 games. I expect Steph Curry to play lights out Steph. I expect Klay Thompson to be huge. I think the X factor on each side, you're probably looking at Siakam on the Toronto side, kind of trying to defend inside and all the rest and try to score some points. And then I'm going to go with Draymond Green on the other side because there's nobody that has Draymond Green who checks all of those boxes in a box score like he does for Golden State. I'm Mike Lindsley, 9 minutes with me here at the Phoenix Sports Restaurant. Get down here for lunch, for dinner. I mentioned that lunch buffet. And, of course, they have great beers on tap and in the bottle as well. And Bet Next Door at the OTB, they will help you out if you don't know really where to get started in terms of any of your bets. Phoenix Sports Restaurant, like them on Facebook, and get here, a proud sponsor of the ML Sports Platter. As I always tell you, enjoy the games.